Good morning, students. The video has the topic theory of consumer behavior this time. Students, we have already done what do we mean by microeconomics and which are the items which are studied under this branch of economics. So now we are starting with one part of microeconomics, that is how a consumer behaves. What is the theory behind consumer behavior? As we have already done in the first chapter of statistics, a consumer is a person who buys goods and services to satisfy his wants. The objective of every consumer is to get maximum satisfaction with limited expenditure. Whatever amount a consumer has in his hands, he wants to get maximum satisfaction from that amount. That's the objective of every rational consumer. Satisfaction is called as utility as per the language of economics. So utility means want satisfying power of a commodity. Every commodity has a power to satisfy some of our want, and that power is called utility. For example, if a person wants to go to Chennai, he boards a train and reaches his destination. So train as a means of transport has utility. It has the power to satisfy this person's want. Another example, a person wants to save money. This is his want. A bank accepts his deposits. So banking service has utility. It has the power to satisfy the want of saving money. In this slide you can see that a kid is having apple to satisfy his hunger. So it can be said that apple has the power to satisfy this kid's want, and therefore apple has utility. Students, there are two measures of utility. You can measure utility by totaling it up, or you can find out the utility of each unit individually. Total utility is the sum total of utility derived by consuming all the units of a commodity. So in case you consume 5 apples, total utility means totaling up the utility derived from each of the 5 apples. And the utility which a consumer gets from every single unit is called marginal utility, additional utility. So for example, towards the right side, there is this person who says that I ate 4 apples and I got 30 utils of utility. Utils is the measure of utility. So if from the first apple he is getting 14 utils of satisfaction, this is the marginal utility of the first apple. From the second apple, if he gets 10 utils, then this is the marginal utility of the second apple. Likewise for third and the fourth apple, and after consuming 4 apples, what is his total utility? It is the sum total of utilities of all the individual units. So 30 utils is the total utility derived after consuming 4 apples. Marginal utility, as we just discussed, is the addition to total utility when one more unit of a commodity is consumed. When you consume one more unit, the change that takes place in your total utility because of consumption of one more unit is called marginal utility. So as you can see, there are 3 boxes of ice cream. From the first one you get 25 utils, from the second one you get 20 utils, and from the third one you get 10 utils. These are the marginal utilities of the individual boxes of ice cream. And if I say what is the total utility after consuming 3 boxes of ice cream, then it will be 25 plus 20 plus 10. Mathematically, marginal utility can be found out using the two formulas. The first one is TUN minus TUN minus 1, where n refers to the number of units. The second formula is delta TU upon delta Q, where delta TU stands for change in total utility and delta Q stands for change in number of units. So with change in number of units, how much does your total utility change is marginal utility. A very important law put forward by H.H. Gosen, which is also called the first law of consumption, is the law of diminishing marginal utility. This law states, as the name suggests, that as we consume more and more units of a commodity, the utility derived from each successive unit, which means marginal utility only, goes on decreasing. Students, when we keep on increasing the consumption of a particular commodity, then the additional satisfaction that we get from each successive unit goes on declining. As you can see, the same law has been represented by a schedule. You can see that the marginal utility column shows additional utility from each successive unit, which is diminishing from 10 to 8 to 4 to 0 and then becoming negative to -2. Accordingly, if we make the column of total utility, you find that total utility first increases from 10 to 18, then from 18 to 22, then becomes constant, again 22, and then starts falling down to 20. When this schedule is represented in the form of a diagram, this is how TU curves and marginal utility curve is made. TU curve first increases at an increasing rate, then it increases at a diminishing rate, becomes constant, and finally starts falling down. Whereas marginal utility curve starts from the point of TU and keep on diminishing as more and more units are consumed. It becomes positive, then touches the x-axis, becomes 0, and then finally becomes negative. The point where marginal utility touches the x-axis, where mu is equal to 0 and Tu is maximum, is called the point of satiety. After this point, every additional unit which is consumed is not going to provide satisfaction but dissatisfaction to the consumer. The diagram has been explained. Marginal utility curve slopes downward because of law of diminishing marginal utility. TU curve rises at a diminishing rate when marginal utility is positive, and as soon as marginal utility becomes 0, TU becomes constant. Finally, when marginal utility becomes negative, TU starts falling. Following are the assumptions of law of diminishing marginal utility. Students, every law is based upon certain assumptions. If these assumptions are true, then only the law will hold valid. If any of these assumptions does not hold true, the law will also not hold true. Firstly, the consumer is rational, which means that every consumer wants to get maximum satisfaction. Secondly, all the units of commodity consumed should be of the same quality, because if there is a difference in the quality of the commodity, then marginal utility might not follow the diminishing trend. Thirdly, all the units should be consumed without any time gap, which means that consumption should take place at a particular time. Fourthly, it is possible to measure utility in terms of numbers, because if we cannot measure utility, we cannot find out the trend of marginal utility or total utility. Fifthly, tastes and preferences of the consumer do not change, because if tastes and preferences change, marginal utility will again increase and not follow the law of diminishing marginal utility. And lastly, the commodity must be consumed in sizable quantity. It should be consumed in a way that we are able to measure the quantities consumed. Out of these assumptions, the following points have been criticized. Number one, utility is a psychological experience. It cannot be measured in terms of numbers. Students, if we cannot measure utility in terms of numbers, we won't be able to find out how marginal utility is increasing or decreasing or how much. Therefore, utility, which is a psychological experience, is very difficult to be measured in terms of numbers. Also, tastes and preferences of the consumer may change, because every consumer reacts differently. Therefore, this cannot be asserted that tastes and preferences will not change. So it's a point of criticism. And finally, the quality of different units of a commodity may be different. This is also not possible in every situation, that all units of the commodity are of same quality, because quality and standards cannot be ensured in every commodity case. So these three assumptions have been criticized, and so these are the limitations of this law. Coming to the next topic, which is consumers' equilibrium. Students, it is a state where the consumer wants to reach and does not want to move. It is a state where the consumer gets maximum satisfaction, because if a consumer gets maximum satisfaction, he will not want to move, he will want to stay, and that position, that state is known as consumers' equilibrium. These are the two approaches to find out consumer equilibrium. We start with the cardinal utility analysis. It is given by Alfred Marshall, who says that utility can be measured in utils. Law of diminishing marginal utility and law of equimarginal utility are the two laws that describe this utility, and this analysis is called Marshallian analysis. In case of one commodity, the consumer equilibrium condition is where marginal utility of X commodity is equal to the price of the same commodity. Students, understand that price is what you pay and marginal utility is what you get. Where both are equal, you will be at equilibrium. What if you are not at equilibrium? First point, if marginal utility is more than the price, which means that you are getting more than what you are paying, automatically the consumer will increase the consumption of good X. And as per the law of diminishing marginal utility, if you increase the consumption of good X, its marginal utility will start falling. And when this happens, it will keep on falling till it becomes equal to price, and equilibrium will again be established. Vice versa, if MU is less than the price, which means that you are paying more and getting less, automatically you are going to reduce the consumption, and as a result marginal utility will start increasing till the point it becomes equal to the price. and the equilibrium condition is again restored. This schedule shows you where the consumer will be at equilibrium. Marginal utility and price schedule is given to you, and we can see that after consuming 4 units of apple, the marginal utility and price are becoming equal. So that is the point of equilibrium. The schedule, if we plot in the form of a diagram, we can plot two curves. The MU curve, which is downward sloping because of law of diminishing marginal utility, and the price curve, which is horizontally parallel to the x-axis, which means that the price is constant. Equilibrium is where both these lines intersect. So point E is the point of equilibrium, and corresponding to it are the prices and the quantity. The second condition which should be fulfilled in order to the consumer to be in the form of equilibrium is that law of diminishing marginal utility should operate. Coming now to the two commodities case, students, this case is governed by another law, which is equi-marginal utility. Again, this law was put forward by H.H. Gussen, and it is called the second law of consumption. What is the condition of consumer equilibrium as per this law? It states that consumer will be at equilibrium when the ratio of marginal utility of one commodity to its price is equal, is same to the ratio of marginal utility of the other commodity to its price. Mathematically, we can write it as MUX upon PX is equal to MUY upon PY, which means that the consumer is getting same utility, same benefit, same satisfaction from the last rupee spent on each good. Supposingly the consumer is not in equilibrium, how is he going to react? In the first case, the first ratio is more than the second ratio, which means consumer is getting satisfaction more from X rather than Y. So automatically he is going to increase the consumption of X and reduce the consumption of Y. Once consumption of X starts increasing, its marginal utility will tend to fall, and vice versa for the marginal utility of Y. When this happens, the condition of equilibrium will again be established and the two ratios will automatically become equal. Likewise, this is the case where Y good gives more satisfaction than the X good. Correspondingly, the consumption of Y will increase and of X will decrease. Correspondingly, the marginal utility of Y will decrease and marginal utility of X will increase, and this will keep on moving till the equilibrium is restored. Likewise, the second condition to be fulfilled for the consumer to be in equilibrium is operation of the law of diminishing marginal utility. A practice numerical where the consumer is consuming only two goods X and Y. You are given the marginal utilities of X and Y, which are 4 and 5, and you are given the price of X is 5 and that of Y is 4. The question is the consumer in equilibrium, and what will be the further reaction of the consumer? Students, if the consumer is already in equilibrium, there will be no further reaction, he will not move. However, if he is not at equilibrium, then he will react in such a manner so that he reaches to the point of equilibrium. In this case, MUX upon PX is equal to 4 by 5 and MUY upon PY is equal to 5 by 4. Clearly, the two ratios are not same. So the consumer is not in equilibrium. MUY upon PY is greater than MUX upon PX. So commodity Y is giving more satisfaction to the consumer than commodity X. Therefore, the consumption of good Y will increase and consumption of good X will decrease. Corresponding to it, the marginal utility of Y will fall down and marginal utility of X will keep on rising, and this will go on until the equilibrium is restored. You can have a look at the solution. Another question, where the marginal utility of both is same 2 and the prices are different. Again, the consumer is not in equilibrium and he will increase the consumption of X because X is giving him more satisfaction than Y, and reduce the consumption of Y. Corresponding to it, the marginal utility of X will start falling and marginal utility of Y will start increasing. This will keep on moving till both the ratios become equal and the consumer reaches the point of equilibrium. So that's the end of cardinal utility analysis. Ordinal utility analysis will be done further.